Hello, this is Bobby Holcomb. I am with Knoxville Youth Athletics, Knoxville Endurance, and Webb School of Knoxville. But today I'm actually going to be providing a nice little interview with Carter Coughlin. This is going to be a first edition of our summer interview processes that we go throughout the entire next 8 to 10 weeks. Carter's going to kick off, and we're going to have these interviews pretty much on YouTube, Knoxville Youth Athletics page, Knoxville Endurance's page, and so on. So you can watch them over and over again. We're very fortunate today to have Carter Coughlin here. He is currently attending Wake Forest, but he graduated high school from Webb School of Knoxville back in 2018. Wonderful career he had at Webb. He's a 5-time state champion, Gatorade Runner of the Year back in 2017. Awesome PRs in the 1600, 415, 902 for the 3200, 5K, 1457. He had the Cherokee record with the 1457. He broke a record that stood for almost 10 years and was one of the first ones to break 15 barrier at the Cherokee course. And in 2017, he also placed 5th at the Footlocker region meet. And then at Nationals, got All-American, placing 15th overall at Footlocker Nationals in San Diego. So, Carter, thank you for coming on today and joining us, and appreciate taking the time away from your summer schedule. How's things going at Wake Forest so far? How are you liking the college ranks?
Things are going well. I love being at Wake Forest. It's such a great place. I love running there. It's been a lot of fun. Getting to know the team up first when I was a freshman, just getting to know everybody and getting into the college running scene. It's a lot different than high school. It's a lot harder, a lot longer days. But I love it. I love my experience there. I just graduated in May from undergrad, and I still have 1 year left. I'm going to do graduate school there. And I could not imagine myself anywhere else. It's been incredible. And the running has been great. I love my coach. I love my team. I love running in NCAA. It's been awesome. And the ACC, of course, the best conference. Love running for the ACC.
Now, something very unique you've done. You graduate within 3 years, basically, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
How'd you pull that off?
It was crazy. I I didn't plan on doing that going in. I think some people go from the get-go thinking I want to speed run through this, but I wasn't thinking about it. Then I got to my sophomore year and realized, oh, whoa, I'm kind of far ahead. I got a lot of credits from high school and then just took a lot of classes, I guess, my freshman and sophomore year. So I technically skipped my sophomore year and went straight to junior year and then was a senior. And it was fun. It was cool. It was a unique experience. I'm glad that I got to graduate early. I think it made me make a lot of other friends outside my grade who have already graduated now. And then now I get to still be here with my original friends from freshman year and sophomore year. So it's been really cool. It's been a cool experience. I'm really glad that I was able to do that.
Nice. So that basically kind of sets what you did in college, kind of was a starter in high school. I mean, you were a wonderful student athlete in high school. We were just talking about your PRs here. You were a wonderful athlete in high school, but that was just a portion of your life. You had a lot going on in high school. And, tell us a little bit about the importance of running. And well, first, let me ask the first question. When did you really start getting into, cross country and track in high school? When did you really start to invest into it? Because early on, you were a multi-sport athlete. You were a wrestler. You ran also, but you took wrestling pretty serious in the off season. And so kind of give us your early years and then tell us when you actually started transitioning over full time.
Yeah. So coming out of middle school, I guess it's a long time ago, I played soccer, I wrestled, and then I joined the sailing team in high school too. But I think I knew pretty early I wanted to pursue running more. I didn't want that to be the only thing that I did. I wanted to do lots of things. I was always trying to get into new things. So I think my sophomore year of high school is when I really was thinking, all right, I really want to just do this. I want to dedicate all my time to this, all my athletic time to this. And I think that was a good way to do it. I liked doing other stuff coming into high school and my freshman year. I wrestled still, and that was just fun. It just lets you take some pressure off the running. It's when you can do two different things, you can spread out your energy. And I thought it was really cool. I'm really glad that I got to do that. I feel like it's such a cool experience that I wouldn't have gotten if I had just been kind of streamlined from the get-go, trying to only pursue one thing. I need to see what you're good at. I think that's good to try out when you're younger.
And you were a pretty good wrestler too, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you made the state, correct?
Yeah, I got second at state in my weight class my sophomore year. So that was pretty exciting. It was cool. And it was cool because I knew that I was going to pursue running, but I was just kind of doing it on the side. But then I ended up dedicating a lot of time to it and a lot of effort. And it was not easy at all. Oh my goodness. I will forever honor the wrestlers because it's incredible what they do. It is incredible.
So early on, I mean, for you middle schoolers, elementary middle schoolers, and young high schoolers like freshmen, sophomores, it's okay. You're basically stating with your experience, it's okay to like try a lot of different stuff, find out what your passion, find out what you're really into.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you were a really good student. I mean, you were a good student athlete. So talk about, how you balanced. I mean, you were an upper echelon student at Webb School of Knoxville. So talk about, how you were able to balance the academics and sports.
Yeah, I definitely tried really hard in high school to manage my time well and to pursue the things that I was interested in. And I knew that if I pursued everything that I was interested in, the time would kind of allocate itself. I don't think I really stressed about my time and where I was expending my energy very much in high school. I just kind of did what I was going to do and just went forward and didn't really worry about it too much. But I think being able to be focused on more than one thing at a time was really helpful for me. I was able to focus on my running and my school and my friends and being part of Young Life and doing other things that I enjoy doing. I mean, I love being outside and I love doing art and all the different things. I did everything and I love doing that. I think it made my high school experience a lot more fun than if I had just done one thing and put all my energy into that one thing. I don't know. It helps take the pressure.
Now elaborate a little bit on Young Life. Now that was a big part of you in high school.
Yeah, so I didn't start doing Young Life until my junior year. And then I guess for people who don't know what Young Life is, it's basically a high school ministry where college leaders go into high schools and spend time with kids and build relationships and show them who Jesus is, basically. It's not part of a church organization, but obviously its goal is to kind of lead it into church. So I did it in high school. I was a high school student who went to Young Life clubs on Monday nights, and I loved it. I got to know my leaders really well. I went to camp in Colorado. I did what they call work crew, which is where you go and work at a camp, volunteer at a camp for a month. Mm-hmm. So I was washing dishes in Colorado. It was glorious. It was incredible. And then since being in college, I became a Young Life leader at a school called Forsyth Country Day in Winston-Salem. And yeah, it's just been a really cool way for me to pour into high schoolers and give my life away. I don't know. I felt a lot of purpose in it. And it's been really cool to have that and running to, I don't know, not let me get too focused on one of them. I think it's cool to spread out my energy and my effort and my time. It's been really awesome.
You did a fantastic job of that. Now coming back, let's dive back into your running a little bit. Back around your junior year, you started when you made that commitment from being a soccer, wrestler, runner. You went down to basically being a wrestler and a runner, and then you make that commitment to be a full-time runner. Was it intimidating at all, or did you just knew it was like an even transit? I can do this, and I can be a full-time runner. And what clicked ahead? What was that turning point, I guess you could say, to where, all right, I'm going to be a full-time runner, but here's what I want to do now, being
Yeah.
a runner?
I think I just loved it a lot. I really love running. I still do. I really like the competition part of it, but I love just getting up in the morning and going out for a run. I think that's what drew me to it in elementary school when I started running. I just loved being outside and running around. And I didn't do any serious running in elementary school, but I think that's where my love for it started. And that's why I decided to pursue it really. I also wasn't any good at soccer. I scored 1 goal in all my time as a soccer player, and I was offsides. So didn't count. So that was also an error point. But I think that's the most important. That was the most important thing for me. Just really loving the sport, loving the activity. I love the mental side of it. I love how therapeutic it can be to run. And it takes a lot of mental strength to do it. I think it's cool. All the mental aspects that go into training and racing. And it's just a cool sport. And I love that I'll be able to do it for a long time. That's appealing.
What was when you basically your junior year and you're just you're running, did your mind ever get to a point it was like, oh, I think I really would like to go back to another sport for a day or two? Was there like a workout that was like so hard, or a race that was just so defeating, or so was there ever a point when you became one dimensional, I guess you could say, becoming just that runner instead of the other sports? Was there any moments that you were like, oh, I just need to kind of back off for a minute? Or were you just go, go, go?
I'm trying to think. I don't think that there was a time where I thought about going to another sport, but there were times when it was really hard. There are definitely still are times that it's really hard, and times that you think about giving up and you think about not competing anymore. I think everyone who runs and even plays a sport, especially in NCAA, who plays sport, there are times, everyone has times when they second guess themselves. Do I really want to be doing this? Is it worth it? I think that's a question that we all ask ourselves. So I definitely have had times like that where I've thought about that, especially my freshman year of college when I had to have knee surgery. That was tough. That made me think a lot about the sport, what I loved about it, what I wanted to get out of it, why I did it. Because if you're doing it for the awards and the medals and the glory, you're going to be really disappointed really fast, because those do not come frequently, and sometimes they don't come at all. So I think just making it clear to myself that I'm in this to do it, not to get anything out of it, really makes it easier.
So let's go back to your junior year. You come off, you win the state, which still to this day is probably one of the best races I think I've ever witnessed. State mile championship.
Yes.
Two Footlocker All Americans, basically going neck and neck in the mile. The two Carters. And I wish I had a video of this still on hand, but you two end up setting something up after that race, your junior year in the mile, and then you both springboard to your next years, and you both end up, making Footlocker the following year. And
Yep.
but tell me a little bit about the expectations, the pressure you put on yourself. And this is kind of key for a lot of high school, elementary, and middle school. You win a state championship, and you go on, and then now you're setting the bar even higher for the following year. Tell us what kept you engaged. Tell us what kept you motivated. What was some of the deciding factors in moving forward and going to that next level, where you're basically now going from an all-state runner, state champion, to now you're going after All-American?
Yeah. I think always having a goal was good for me. I had that goal of going to Footlocker Nationals from a long time out. I would say probably sophomore year running. I had that goal. And I think keeping it in perspective, keeping it always in my mind, but not fretting about it. I don't think I ever worried about the goal, but I think it was good to have it there. I know it was good to have it there. And then more focusing in just on the day to day. I tried not to think super far out, because that makes you feel overwhelmed. overwhelmed. I still try to do that. It makes me feel too overwhelmed to think so far out. I hardly know what I'm going to do this afternoon. And even if I think I know, who knows, it could change. So I think even in perspective, I try to approach every day like that was the most important one. Like, this workout is the most important one. This easy run's the most important one. And then I think all those days just building on themselves are what helped me to get to Footlocker Nationals and helped me to get to where I am. That's just by day.
So basically, you stayed in the moment. You didn't get too far ahead of yourself. I like it.
Yeah.
That's a great advice out there for a lot of you youngsters out there. You want to get the big picture right off the bat, and you want to be already in November when you need to handle basically June, July, and August first. And
exactly.
And that happens a lot. And we see that a lot as coaches and as athletes. You see the emotions. Everybody has a fresh slate in June, July, and August, and they put so much stock in those 3 months. And you've done a fantastic job on just, I'm staying in June, staying in July, staying in August, and they just keep building. And that's a wonderful job right there. So tell us about the now your experience. You head on to Footlocker. For those that don't understand, and it's been almost like 2 years now since Footlocker's even happened. I guess it will be 2 years in November. It's the epic pinnacle of cross country. It's like the top 40 runners. There are 4 regions. Each region is made up of almost like 17 to 20 states. And they take the top 10. So when you're at the region meet, you're taking on basically relatively close to 45 to 50 state champions. If you combined all the states, all the divisions, you're taking on a lot of state champions and a lot of runners that are maybe didn't even win state, that probably could have won state, that still ended up making it in one race. I mean, the region race is pretty much just as hard as almost the national race. And so tell us about when you get on that starting line and you've won a state championship in cross country already. Now you've got basically 40 to 45 of you right on the starting line together now. Tell us what that mind is feeling like and what you're thinking to yourself at that current moment.
At regionals, I was not thinking about a lot. I was just thinking I need to get out really fast and I need to be in the front and I need to hang on and not die at the last 800 meters. That's what, I don't know who has been to McAlpine and run that course before, but it's really straight and flat at the beginning. And then there's a big hill and then it's this flat loop around this lake at the end. And that's where people get eaten up. I was just hyper focused going into it. Just kind of trying to get out as fast as I could, because that's the truth. It's so many fast people, and if you don't get out right at the front, there's just no way. It's so narrow and it's so fast, and there's so many people. It's hard if you get tangled up in the back, because that's what happened to me my sophomore year. I tripped over a cameraman on the side of the course. And so I was traumatized by that. I did not want that to happen again. So I just tried to get out fast and stay focused and kept thinking about why I was there, what my goal was. That was the time where I really was thinking, okay, Footlocker Nationals, that's the goal. I want to keep that in my head this entire time, because it's so easy to make excuses in the middle of a race. It happens every time. It happens all the time.
So basically what you're kind of stating too is like, you're not thinking about a lot. You're still staying in the moment, like you were talking about. Young life, student athlete. You have a goal, but you've got a lot of things still balancing your head. Did that play a big part of keeping the nerves off? Having so many other things going on?
Yeah, I think it did. I think the fact that it wasn't my whole life and my whole life goals sitting in front of me, I think that would have been too much. I don't think I would have been able to run well. I think the best races I have are the ones with the least amount of pressure. It's just, I go into it relaxed, feeling good or feeling bad. Doesn't really matter how you walk to the start line. Just right after the gun is what matters. And I think the most relaxed I could be was the better. And the more I had going on other than running in my life, the more I was able to relax and take it all in and stay focused when it came to actually competing.
And I hope that's a lesson for a lot of you guys out there, because I know a lot of people will put a lot of stock in just a one day and one race. And so you can still keep a good life balance. And that's one of the reasons why, Carter, we have you on here today, is because you did a wonderful job of that in high school and even now in college. I mean, look, you got a degree within 3 years, and I think it's just fantastic. So you stayed focused on a lot of other stuff other than running, and you still can't, and you're still a very successful college runner. You made nationals this year. You got fifth at ACCs at the cross country, and it helped springboard your guys' entire team to a national cross country qualifier. And so keeping that in mind, to all those people out there, understand that, you know, you can help run a lot better and keeping a little freedom of mind. And I think that's very, very impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say one more thing to that. Something that I've learned that don't really feel like I felt it in high school, but I have learned it so far in college. It's just the importance of the team. I think in high school, I was running by myself a lot. I was doing everything by myself. I was always in the front, and that's a cool place to be, but it can feel kind of lonely and kind of like you're doing it for yourself. Even though it's a team sport, it's kind of like in cross country the last few years of high school. I was thinking about the team score, but it really was not at the front of my mind at all. And since being in college, it's so different. The races are so much longer. They're twice as long as we run in high school. So there's a lot more room for people to do really well or not to do well. And I think in every race, people are going to have a really good day and a really bad day. And it's all about thinking about the team when you're out there and thinking about how you can score the best as a team and not putting all that pressure on individuals. I don't know. I think it's easier to kind of breeze over that in high school and not really think about it. But once you get to college, it becomes a lot more about the team, because you make meets as teams. You proceed throughout the season as a team. We made nationals as a team. You don't really do much at all as an individual, especially in cross country. Track is a little more, but cross country, it's a whole team affair. And so it's cool to be able to count on your friends who are right next to you running with you. And it's cool to be able to celebrate if you have a great day, but you have people to fall back on if you don't have a great day. And there's somebody will swoop in and take your place. So that's a cool thing that I've been learning too about the attitude going into each race.
Definitely. Was that the first time Wake Forest made the nationals cross country in a while, or is that a consecutive streak?
No, it's the first time we've made it in 20 years. So
that's
impressive. A long time. It was cool. And it was cool after our ACC meet, because we knew, obviously it wasn't set in stone, but we knew that we were probably going to make it. And that was just so cool. It was a really cool feeling. And nationals was awesome. That was the greatest experience.
One thing I wanted to kind of touch up on right before we take off here is your success in high school and in success in college so far. Talk about real quick. You're not your typical distance runner in high school. You were a lower mileage type guy. Talk about your relatively weekly mileage in high school.
Yeah, I don't know. I might need some help remembering this. I think I probably ran 45 miles a week for a while. I ran 60 maybe my senior year, but only for a little bit. But I went from low mileage there. I was relatively low mileage my freshman year in college, and then now I'm not at all. I've totally switched. I'm high mileage now, which I like. I think it's a lot more fun, and I like running all the miles. I think it helps me a lot. But in high school, I was not. I remember going to Footlocker and talking with all the other guys. Hey, like how many miles do you run a week? What's your training look like? We all just kind of talked about that while we were there, and I was always one of the lowest mileage people, which was weird, but it really just shows how you can do well in range. I think in college it becomes even more dramatic. I mean, there are people on my team running 115 miles a week, and there are people on the team running 7. So we all find ourselves in this range, and it's just a balance of who the person is, how they respond to mileage, how they respond to training, how much they want to do. A lot of it in college it comes down to how much you want to do, because some people don't have the motivation to do 150 miles a week, where some people don't have anybody to do. So it kind of depends on every person, but I don't think it's something you need to worry about in high school, especially. You don't need to worry about miles, or especially in middle school even. You should not even think about how many miles you're running.
And that's impressive. I mean, that's impressive to be an All-American, and you're averaging basically, like you say, your senior year, you tapped into the 60 range, but really, honestly, I mean, you were leading up to it 45 to 50. And I talk to high school kids today. It's like they feel like they got to get into the 60s and 70s and 80s like a benchmark. And it's like, no, that's mileage is important, but it's also about mental toughness. And that was one of the things that I know a lot of us coaches in the Knoxville area and even the state admired about you, Carter, was that your mental toughness, and how when you came to the starting line, you knew you were going to get Carter's best, and you weren't going to get a lay down type day from a Carter Coughlin. You were going to get front running. I am going to lay the hammer and come in. If you beat me, you're going to beat me running hard. And that was probably what sets you apart also too, with a lot of athletes in the area, was your mental toughness. And a lot of times that's a third of the sport. I mean, and having that mental toughness, and, you can beat that 80 miles a week type person and 70 miles a week that invest all that time into it and they put all that stock into it. They may be good, and no disrespect to those athletes, they may be good, but you've mentally set yourself up to be fresh and you're ready to attack. And, and that was what was remarkable about you in high school, how you were able to do that. Well, Carter, do you have any other, what's the big advice you have for a middle schooler, high schooler, maybe a young high schooler going into college?
Biggest advice.
You got a picture right now. There's probably a middle schooler that's watching this today, or a high schooler the young high schooler up and rising. What would you say right off the bat? You'd say, hey, this is one advice, kind of take it with you.
I think probably the biggest thing that I would say, the most important thing that's been in my life related to running, is just not letting it get too big in my life. Not letting running take up too much space in my life, because then it may feel like you're going to do better if it takes up more space, but really that just is less space for you to do other things, and it doesn't necessarily make you better. There are so many things that get better as you add other things to your life and as you diversify what you do. So I think not letting running become everything in your life, but really enjoying it, because it's so fun. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. And I think if you can start to try to enjoy it when you're in middle school, or even when you're in high school, it will pay off a lot. The best runners I know are the ones who love it the most.
Excellent. Definitely. Well, Carter, thank you. Best of luck to getting your master's. I guess you start in a couple of weeks, heading out back to Wake Forest, and hopefully you still have eligibility. You got 1 year left, correct?
Yeah, I actually have a little bit more left, but I will not be utilizing it because I would be out of school and done. I don't know, maybe I could do something else, but I'm not going to use all of it. So one more year.
Best of luck, both as a student and as an athlete at Wake Forest. And we appreciate taking the time today, and look forward to seeing you, how things will develop in the next year or so. Take care, Carter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.